I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera. We're sponsored by the Human Bean in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm excited to be here with Sheila Stiley, Executive Director of Northwest Coastal Housing. And they have been so busy. We wanted to do another Coffee with Kiera and get kind of caught up on everything that's been going on. Sheila, first of all, tell folks a little bit about Northwest Coastal Housing and what it is that you do, because you do a lot.
Yeah. Northwest Coastal Housing is a nonprofit affordable housing development company, and we have been around since 1991, developing since 1994 in Lincoln County, and we have expanded to Tillamook County in 2022 to a complex. So we have a lot of multifamily housing apartments around, and we also have expanded to a variety of different kinds of housing. So we don't just do the standard apartments. Our facilities come with services, but they're a little special. So we do things such as veteran housing and individuals with severe and persistent mental illness. We do shelter. Now we have a low barrier shelter in Lincoln City, and we now have a transitional recovery center in Newport. So like I said, we're doing a variety of things, and I'll wait till we dig deeper to know more, but we're just a nonprofit trying to do big work.
So what I love about Northwest Coastal Housing is that you have over the years looked at where's the need and how do we provide for it.
Yeah, that has certainly been a heavy lift too, because honestly, name a niche. But some stand out more than others at different time frames. So I think probably the biggest and largest example of that was when the wildfires hit, and then just the large amount of the homeless population that we had in our area. And not only were we looking at, good Lord, where do we house these folks individually for a short term, meaning up to 18 months. That was the initial thought. But then how do we go from there to develop additional housing in the meantime to find permanent placement? So we were literally doing both of those simultaneously. I think one of the other things that we found while we were doing sheltering, for instance, and then in our discussions with other entities and with the state, is the amount of seniors who are in displacement, who don't have places to go, which break my heart now.
Well, you're absolutely correct. I mean, talking with Chantel Estes, who runs the overnight shelter, the winter shelter, the majority of their clients are 55 and up.
That's right. We're all seeing the same thing.
Sleeping on the streets. I can't conceive my family sleeping on the streets in this cold because they can't afford a place to be.
And it's been interesting as to why they're on the street. I mean, that's another piece. It's okay, we have all of these senior populations on the street. What in the world is going on? And so there's a myriad of reasons that we found out, obviously the fires, of course, but then you have a lot of individuals who have found that it's just one thing that has happened in their life. They're one crisis away from homelessness. We've had several individuals who had a full-time job, had for 40 years, but they suffered a major physical stroke or diabetes, loss of a limb, you name it, widowed. Now you went from 2 incomes down to 1. Now they're finding that they're living in their car with nowhere to go. The pricing of housing has escalated so high, they literally have nowhere to go. And so those are the different key pieces that we have looked at and gone, geez Louise. So one of our focuses that we have is building a senior and disabled facility here in Newport, and that is in the pipeline through the state. And we're number 3 on the list for when the next funding round comes out. So that's another way that we really are looking at trying to dial in of what is this need and how can we meet it in a real tangible way. And again, not all of our places come with just the housing that we put them in. It's affordable housing. And now understand, affordable housing has a little bit of a different look. When you hear affordable housing and rents today, and when you hear that's affordable, yeah.
Okay, $2,000 versus 700.
700. I mean, yeah, it's a thing. And we still have to be able to afford to build it. We still have to be able to afford to pay the bills that are there because everything has escalated and gone up. So it's hard to find that happy medium, but it takes a lot of partnering. It takes a lot of time scrounging up where do the dollars come from. It takes a lot of strategizing of, okay, how do we layer this in such a way with these funds that they don't interfere with each other, and then really looking at, all right, is the cost to build this even going to be able to make it happen? I'm in one of those processes now. I mean, you want to take my heart, throw it on the ground and stomp on it, do some value engineering with your development team. I mean, that's what it feels like sometimes. But you try to do everything you can. It's just it's really expensive to do what you do. But it's important to get these units on the ground. And at the end of the day, you just need to have places for people to go that are built well, that are built with a safe place in mind, that come with services in all of them. When I mean services, I'm talking about placement of a type of resident services that's either employed by us or we partner with another entity and they provide services that reduce the barriers that would cause somebody to ultimately be in a place of homelessness again, because that just generates a lot of problem anyway. And then we're talking about a recycled, I mean, I hate to use that terminology.
It's almost recidivism.
Yes, exactly. I mean, even at our shelter, we're seeing people come back 3 times. And it's not a lot, but we do see a few that come back. But on the 3rd time, they're finally, okay, we've got them into a place. They're stable. They've got their services. They've got their resources. They ran this merry-go-round once and twice already, and now we're finally there. And that's been really great to see. So I think that's important. And we really look at the whole housing continuum from the homeless to the homeowner. So we've expanded out. I mean, literally, it was just affordable housing and multifamily apartments. And well, that's not all. We've really expanded out to the homeless population now with our low barrier shelter. And we also looked at the homeowner. So we ended up with a property that was provided to us by the county. And we have put on a manufactured home there that is soon to go to a wildfire displaced family here. I hope to God this month. So
we'll keep you posted.
We'll keep you posted. More to come. So we're just this close, and those are exciting times, and that's going to be turned over to Habitat for Humanity to run that.
I was going to say you couldn't do this without community partners.
That's what I'm saying. Everything takes community partners to do this work. So services are key. Who you partner with is key. Funding resources are key. And donors, we need donors to help with this too, because funding this, again, we're just a nonprofit doing big work. And it's hard to do. It's hard work to do. It's a heavy lift.
Let me clarify as far as funding and donations.
Sure.
I know you do a lot with grants, and some people may become a little intimidated thinking, well, I don't have thousands of dollars to give, and that's what they need.
Yeah.
Any amount helps, and you can become a monthly donor right on your brand new, sparkling, awesome website.
Yes, we do have a pretty website. Just so you know, yeah, www.nwcoastalhousing.org. No, that would be really helpful. I mean, even the cost of a coffee, a day a week, it's anywhere depending on the service levels for the year. For our shelter, in all honesty, a bed a night is around $35 a night. And that's not too bad for a bed a night to get people off the street. And it's not just getting them off the street. That's coming with wraparound services. We have a complete navigation team built into our property. It's 24/7 run services. We have security that runs through there. We've got a service center where people can go and cook all their meals and do everything, because live in a hotel for a minute, it's challenging to do. So we try to make sure that our housekeeping is still there, trying to keep things clean. It's not the standard housekeeping that you see, but we still want to make sure that our turns are happening. We pay for maintenance. It's a challenge to keep this type of thing running. And it's a hotel. With Coastal Phoenix Rising, our low Bay Area shelter is a hotel in Lincoln City. And that was paid for out of the Oregon Community Foundation funds that both Katie Jacobson and Claire Hall both tag team together, both county commissioners, in different aspects of that. And it would not be here if it wasn't for them both. I don't remember which one of them, and this was right after the wildfire that we had, and I was so mad I couldn't put people into our apartments at the Ridge that I was a Spitfire, and they knew it. And so this different opportunity came up with Project Turnkey. And so they approached me and said, hey. So I received a call from Claire. She's like, hey, there's funding available. And Katie was like, hey, let's look at maybe we could find some hotels. So she helped me search the hotel. We both called each other going, that's the one I was looking at. Anyway, and we went to go find it. And so we saw that. And yep, that's the one that we want. Claire and I tag teamed getting the letters of support ready for that. And we got so many letters of support over an 11-day period of time that when it came time to send in the application, we broke the link. There were so many, it broke the link. It couldn't take it. We literally had to call the system and go, we have a problem, Houston. What can we do? And so they were able to break it up for us and allow it to go in there, but it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for their involvement. So it's just things like that made it really important without our partners to be there. And it's taken a different look over a period of time. It's morphed, which I also think is important and indicative of the work that Northwest Coastal Housing does. All of the Project Turnkeys in all the areas, which I think is very unique, is they're reflective of the communities that they serve. And so for us, we identified that in Lincoln City, it's the place of the largest population of homeless youth. Right now, we have 35 homeless kids in our shelter. 35. I'm right. And that switches around. It goes from, every 3 to 6 months, you have a changeover, and high senior population, high families, high seniors, and it's usually single moms with kids, that we see there. We're seeing a lot of DV that come through our doors. And a lot of medical that come through our doors. So there's a lot of reasons that people are in the space that they are in. But with our services that we provide, they're actually able to move to the next level and next stage. So when I say the continuum from homeless to homeowner, they get to stay in our facility and hopefully get connected to the next space of housing continuum, which we hope is permanent housing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that doesn't always happen, but we have about a 30% success rate in that, which is huge. The standard success rate is around 11. So we're knocking it out of the park in a space where we have limited housing. And then the next space for us in our small area that doesn't have a lot of housing is, what does the next housing continuum look like? Well, the state doesn't count transitional housing. They don't count, it doesn't count. So transitional housing doesn't count as housing. Going to an adult foster care doesn't count as housing. Going to a rehabilitation center for 90 days doesn't count as a different facility. Going to detox doesn't count. So all of these different things don't count. Samaritan House, Nate's Place, those things do not count, but we count it. So that's about a 32% success rate of going to that next level. So we have about a 62% success rate of people going on to that next space. And then the rest are the ones that, they either choose, it's not their time, to be there. But we do have a 62% success rate. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. And a lot of our folks that are there go not only from our shelter into whatever these other places are, but remember, we own a bunch of different other properties. So they get to move in a lot of times to our other properties. I can't tell you how many have moved into our Ridge apartment complex. And we have additional ones that have moved into our Uquina Breeze complex. And in honor of one of our folks, I feel very honored that we get to do something that not everybody gets to do. We get the opportunity to bless people to age in place. And our agency feels very honored to provide that opportunity. One of our individuals landed at Coastal Phoenix Rising, and he ultimately ended up at our Uquina Breeze complex for our dual diagnosed facility here in Newport. He was there for 2 years sober, created a community for himself, and was adored by everybody. Oh my gosh, he was the jokester of jokesters. The dude cracked me up. Loved where he was, stubborn as all get out, and really became an impressive person. He ended up passing away in his unit here right after Christmas. And he was noticed that he was missing. People noticed and they called, and his daughter reached out to me and and was grateful. The last time she had spoken to him, he was still in use, homeless, and speaking to the caseworker and just about to get connected to our agency. So we had the ability to give him the last beautiful final years of his life. That's the kind of stuff that we love. And that's not the first time that's happened.
Well, I was going to say, what's really great about your organization, Sheila, is, and we mentioned this at the beginning, is you're meeting people. So it's veterans housing. It's not, you're not just a one size fits all.
No.
You do veterans. You have Nate's Place, which is an incredibly special, wonderful program.
Yeah.
You have the emergency. You work with Family Promise to help families to be able to have a place to stay in the interim. You provide the services. I know in particular of a family that was at Coastal Phoenix Rising and is now at the Ridge in Lincoln City. A mom with well, now she has 3 kids, but and went from being homeless and sheltered, and then having some stability, and then working their way up. So and then, like you said, offering programs to say, okay, now you're here, now you're stable, now let's look at home ownership for you.
Yeah, there was in 2017, banner year. I know it's been a long time ago, but I just can't get over 2017. 6 families bought their first homes out of the Ridge apartment complex alone.
That's amazing.
I know it was amazing. I was like, whoa. We've obviously had more throughout the years, but 6 in 1 year was pretty amazing.
So let's talk about the future. What programs and what have you got going on that you're working on now? Because you don't just stop.
No.
You don't just go, okay, we've got enough. We're good. We're just going to maintain. No, you're always going forward. What's up?
Yeah, well, we have 2 projects right now that we're almost done with. The tiny home community that we are creating, I think we're calling it Coastal Vineyard Village. CVV. Yeah. Coastal Vineyard Village. So that one is in Lincoln City, directly behind our shelter. And I have, it's like a whirlwind of cool thoughts about this place. I'm so excited. It's 12 units. 6 of them are long-term. 6 of them are transitional. It is a accumulation of 5 different entities. It's a pilot project that they're watching at the state level to see how well this works.
No pressure there.
Well, I didn't. The state told me, oh, by the way, it's like, oh,
okay.
All right. So we have the county, the city, the state, the church, and a community-based organization, that's us, who are working together to make this happen. And so we are putting this 12-unit community village in, and our shelter with our navigation services will continue providing navigation services specifically to the people who are in the transitional housing piece as they need. So the church side, because we'll be land leasing one piece of property from them, and then ground leasing from them, and then 2 properties next door to that, the city of Lincoln City went ahead and donated those to us with a forgivable loan. And so we have that's deeded over. And so that side will have all of the long-term folks and the transitional on the other side. So we're super excited. The church is so excited because this has been a dream for years.
What's the church's involvement with this?
Oh gosh, it was their dream. They wanted to have transitional housing there. They felt that was something they wanted to do around the COVID timeframe, I guess. So this started after the wildfire, and it's paid for out of wildfire money. So that's where this started, and the preference is for individuals who are FEMA certified wildfire survivors. So they'll be first on the wait list. They go right up to the top throughout the whole 20 years that we've got this. And not just from the Echo Mountain Fire Complex, that's obviously first, but any other disasters that we might have in the future.
Such as the slide that happened on 229 that has also left people devastated.
Yeah. It's been something else. So we have the units for that, and with that preference, and then it's all anybody under 80% of the area median income. The focus is Lincoln City. Folks that are homeless in Lincoln City under 80% of the area median income, with wildfire survivors as the preference. So that will naturally be a reference probably from our shelter. We'll be talking with Helping Hands, see if we can form a relationship with them to also do that work, especially since we'll be case managing. So we're hoping, I still have to, hey, Michelle, we'll have to talk. So she knows I mentioned it. But that's something that we want to have available. And we're close. I mean, we're close to that being done probably around March 1. So we're real close, and we're excited about that. The rents are going to be under $700, and all utilities are paid. Oh. So I know, right? So I know, and it provides opportunity for individuals who are going to be in the transitional side to start creating that rental reference, and that's what we want.
And savings.
Yes. Well, because they should already be starting that process at the shelter, working with our folks, being ready to be referred over to the transitional housing side, but just don't have the ability to get anywhere yet, or on a wait list for a voucher or whatever. You know, we've got so many of those folks. Now it's a tiny home, so you can only fit like 1 or 2 people. This isn't a big family thing. It's tiny, but as we mentioned, as many seniors, and we have a lot of
even youth that are just
I was
going to say,
yes,
I know we think like
I know. I'm talking about. Let me hang it. Yes, our displaced youth are definitely on the list for that too, because they're 18 to 24. We are seeing a lot of those too. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at for this, but definitely still connected to our services. They do not come with washer dryers. So our limited amount of washer dryers that we've got, they're still welcome to use. I would say go down the street, but they're still welcome to use them. But it's right next to food share, and the church wants to be able to provide as much support as they can as well. So we're excited about that. We'll be looking at ribbon cutting. I was hoping to do it on sometime around Valentine's Day, but I'm dreaming it's going to be closer around March 1st. So watch for that on our website. New website, www.nwcoasthousing.org. But no, that's exciting. Then the Garden Estates home, which is nearly completed.
And where is
that's
that?
Excited. That's also in Lincoln City, up in the Garden Estates area, up above DMV. If you're familiar with that.
Okay.
On
Very
the north side.
end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Safeway, past that. Yep. Deer just run around there. They've got the little deer. Oh, they were sleeping on the mound. That was there. It was so cute. Anyway, I've got pictures of deer. So I think it's going to be lovely for them. And the landscaping that we got for it, I'm so excited to see that in. Oh, and then I know little things. Alala Meadows. I want to talk about Alala Meadows. So Alala Meadows is going in Toledo.
Mhm.
We are going, there's a whole process to this. I'm not going to go into the dirty details of it. We are in the final processes through the state of the last stages of that funding we have to do. Permits we'll be looking at picking up very soon. We're looking at breaking ground, closing in May, breaking ground in June. And that is 30 units, 1 and 2 bedroom mixes, and that will be for individuals at 60% of the area median income and below. 2 buildings set aside, beautiful location, and we're up on the upper side of a 16-acre area. We have 1 little acre, and we're at the tippity top of the high side of where that's at. So on a built-up space where we'll have a retainer wall and everything. Because I know there's concern about wetlands and everything that's there, and people. I'm glad they're asking. I'm glad they care. And so we've really have done our due diligence in that we have paid to have a wetland delineation completed. And they did, and so that we're good and safe.
Now, for those who don't
Sure.
know, can you please explain what a wetland delineation is?
Mm-hmm. So a wetland delineation is where you have a wetland expert that comes in and they are checking the water level to see exactly where the wetland, how far that goes up. They're checking the GIS maps. They're checking where everything goes up. So they make that determination of where that is. So they're watching and they're looking, and it's not in the wetland.
Now, there's a lot of flooding in that area, as we've seen.
Right.
And the water gets pretty high. Are you concerned?
That's why
Or
we're
should
doing.
people be concerned?
Well, that's why we're putting things on a retainer wall and we're building it up. People don't know that it goes down, it slopes down. And we have to bring in a lot of fill and we have to build that baby way up and then add retainer walls. So there's going to be a lot that we have to do to bring that up. Not because we're concerned about, not because we're concerned about wetland. I want to make that clear too.
Okay.
It's actually the buildable dirt is why we're having to bring that up.
Okay.
So, because you have to have a certain amount of buildable to hold the weight of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, we have to bring in a certain amount. So it's not a concern about the wetland. It's a concern about the weight of the building and the type of fill that we have to bring in and build up. So it's going to be a natural thing that should alleviate people's concerns anyway. It's sort of a 2-prong approach, I guess. The one we're not concerned about, but hopefully that will alleviate. It's like bringing up 16 feet. So it's a lot.
And let's talk a little bit about your collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
You work closely with cities and county governments, but also with a lot of other nonprofits, right?
In general, or for that project?
In general.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we couldn't do this alone. As a nonprofit, we rely on other nonprofits. We rely on our jurisdictions, like as a city, with the cities and the counties, the planning commissions. We rely on the county departments. We rely, like the behavioral health, we rely on them. The shelter, we have so many partners that we work with up there. We have agency huddle meetings once a week, 2 days a week. The Samaritan Health Services comes in and provides wound care. They also provide different services for individuals that come in homeless for respite care, and those that are getting ready for surgery and have to have a place to go back to until they can be safely discharged. We also work with, Family Promise is involved as one of those agencies. We do also work with, we were working with Chance. Now, here's the thing. When we have agencies that go down, it's a much bigger effort that we have to carry that lift again. So We work with Agape, and Agape is having to pick up that lift of the loss of Chance. So we want to,
No chance.
yeah, Chance closed their doors here. Oh, don't get. So now, we've got to figure out, how do we support Agape, who's picking that up, and how do we get them, make sure they're funded enough to carry that load, because they're doing such a great job. The sheriff's office is important to us. Our local police departments are important to us. The city officials are important to us when we can talk to them. We want to talk to the security. We want to talk to our neighbors. How are things going? And we want to find out, have you heard anything? Are things going on? So the neighbors are important. We talk to all of our agency partners who work with us: DHS, Community Services Consortium, my sister's place, my safe place. There's, name one. We work with all of them, and we have to. We just have to, in order to get this really hard work done.
And Sheila, I want to give the website one more plug, because if somebody wants to donate, and 30 of you are able to donate $35 a month, then you're making a huge contribution to help people to stay in a low barrier shelter there. So let's give folks that website, because it's new and revamped and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's got some great information about your services.
Yeah. Be patient with us as it's under construction. But it's www.nwcoastalhousing.org.
So go check it out. If you want some more information about any of these projects, you want to donate, you want to learn more, be involved, volunteer. All that information is there on the website of how you can do that.
Yeah.
All right, Sheila, anything else you want to add as we're wrapping up?
Just one more thing. Animals are important to me. Pets are important to me. And I never want to be at a place where people have to make a decision if they can go into a home, but in order to do so, they have to leave their pet behind. So our places allow you the opportunity to bring your pets, but that also comes with challenges too. So we could use that support as well. Flea bombs, food, leashes, anything like that is definitely worth the support. And we don't like bad pet owners. We only support good pet owners.
All right, wonderful. I didn't know that, so that's good to know. All right, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera. We are sponsored by The Human Being in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101. In Lincoln City, you can find them on the north side of the Highway 101. They are next to TLC Credit Union. Thanks for joining me. I'm Kiera Morgan.